I have the pleasure of getting to interview Martin from one of my favorite games, Unravel. You are the creative director, and I think almost everybody would agree with me and say the heart behind Yarny. I know this game's made such an amazing impact on the community, and just yesterday you guys announced Unravel 2. It's available now, which I wish my hotel internet was fast enough to download it, man! But please, can you tell us about the game? What inspired, continuing Yarny's story, and just tell me all the things.
Yeah. It's actually kind of like a separate story. Like we really wanted to not just pick up where we left off. We wanted to do something that felt super, super new. So that's why it starts kind of brutal with your yarn being ripped off, because we didn't want to be like tied down to anything. So we're just like doing a completely new thing. But I think a lot of the inspiration for it came from, in part, just like a lot of stuff during the year when we announced Unravel that sort of made it feel very natural for me to write a game about coming back from something difficult, because I had a lot of like weird stuff going on in that year. But then when we got to show the game off, the first Unravel, and it was just like a really beautiful moment. It was just like, I like this feeling. I want to make a game about this feeling. I want to make something about just like coming back. And so what we did was try to do a game where instead of having this big twist at the end that we did in the first Unravel, we just put the twist right at the start and then make the rest of the game about just like building you up from there. So it's just like something that's very optimistic and positive, and also all about the co-op, because we noticed that people always, like so many people played the first game together, even though it was like a single player game. We've heard from like so many people who just like played it with their partners, with kids or whatever, and yeah. and so we just figured that of course we should just let them play together too.
So when you're starting the story, and no spoilers, please don't spoil. You get the opportunity whether you can play by yourself, but when you're playing with another person, how does that work within the mechanics of the game? Like with the first one, you had to climb things and explore and find things. So how does that work with a partner this time around?
It's a lot more agile this time around. It's a lot more focused on like acrobatics and like stunts, because we wanted you to just like feel a little bit more powerful, I guess. And I guess powerful as you get when you're a little tiny yarn thing, but we wanted to sort of get this feeling across that like whatever difficulties you come across, you're like super well equipped to deal with them. Because you're like daring, you're even reckless, and you can just like do all kinds of like cool stunts with your yarn. And especially when you're working together, you can just like, if somebody misses a jump, you can just like catch them midair and pull them up with you, and like it's really like forgiving when you play it in co-op, because you can just go nuts and have fun, and it's kind of like safe to try things.
I feel like this is a huge allegory for life, and that's one of the most beautiful things I love about the game, is that I love the fact that you have such a heart and a story that can adapt to everyone. Oh, I can make him blush, look! Yes!
It all fits together, this whole thing about just like trying to make this game about two characters, and then trying to make something that really was like beautiful to play together, and it was just like all about creating good moments for you to share with someone, or like enjoying your own if you want, but just like that it's all about that bond. It's all about that other character who is like, they're like your anchor, they're your safe spot to climb back to, or they're like you can swing from them if you want to reach some new place, and it's just like it's just like, it's very liberating, the fact that you're not like stuck in the past anymore, but you're rather like connected with this other like half.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. So, if somebody hasn't played the first Unravel, can they pick up Unravel 2 and?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not, like I said in the start, like it's not a continuation of the story. It's more like its own thing. So yeah, they definitely can. They're probably not going to get most of it, but then again, it's Unravel games, so you never get them. It's all about what you put into them yourself. It's about inspiring players to like think for themselves rather than just like spell things out.
So when it comes to playing, obviously it's available on Xbox, PS4, and PC. What would you say is an important thing for people to know about playing the game?
We try to make it really accessible, actually. It is like mostly a platform game, But we also tried to expand on the puzzle stuff that we did in the first game and try to make them more like diverse, more interesting, and more challenging too. And they all kind of build around the fact that there's two of you and you're like working together to like overcome all these obstacles. But I think like we try to make it accessible in the way that we didn't want players to get stuck. So we have all these like help features built into the game. You can get like hints if you're stuck on a puzzle, or you can turn on a slow motion mode if you're struggling with a platform bit. But above all, just like the best thing is that you can play together with someone and just like crack all these puzzles together and just like go explore and have fun and play, really. That's what it's all about, like this playfulness and this just like spirit of togetherness and just joy.
Okay, so I have to ask this, and I haven't looked at anything because I didn't want to get spoiled or like ruin my first experience when I start Unravel 2. Does the blue yarn have a name? Or can you not tell me? You don't tell me.
The thing about the name Yarny is that it's actually a joke.
Really?
It's a joke that stuck, because when we were making the first game, people kept referencing the game Journey, and there was someone who said like, no, this ain't Journey, this is Yarny. So somebody named like the character script Yarny, and then said, no, it's Yarny. So it was never like meant as an official name or anything, but it just like kind of stuck. So now we're like, they are Yarnies, essentially.
They are Yarnies.
And they are named whatever you like.
But not in like the we are Borg sort of way, in the good sort of way.
Yes, we are all Yarny.
They're not assimilating anyone with yarn. There's no wool harmed in the making of this video game.
No, I think the concept is that they are supposed to represent like our positive emotions, like our hopes, our longings, and we can all have our own. There's not just one of them or two of them. There's like one for all of us.
I'm like feeling so inspired right now. If you guys are watching this and you don't have feels, man, thank you so much. I cannot wait to play this game, and thank you for being an inspiration to the community.
Thank you.
I just appreciate it. So go check out Unravel 2 and make sure you post about all the feels and awesomeness, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.